Too early. Hi, beautiful people. Hello, Instagram. It is Bonnie Gillespie, and today is day 6 of your 20 days of free training for SMF May, month of May, celebrating self-management for actors. SMF May. Get it? It's a play on the acronym SMFA. Self-management for actors. Great book. If you don't have it, consider getting it. Go over to smfa4.com to get your copy on Kindle, in print, on audiobook. It's all available to you. If you like to hear me talking to you for 17 and a half hours, that audiobook is a great way to cut down on craziness during the commute. Let me put up the URL right here, smfa4.com. Look at that. Yes, according to Periscope, we've got people checking in. I am, in fact, broadcasting on Instagram Live through a second device. But the main broadcast where all the comments are coming through are over here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, pushing through to Twitter. And if everybody who's watching could report in so that I know that we've got folks watching in on all the platforms, that would be phenomenal. I see Facebook reporting in. Hello, Jamie Lee. Hi, Rachel. Always good to see you. Glorious, gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, brilliant human beings. Thank you so much for joining in for SMF May. Happy Friday to you. Hello, Kim. Yes, in fact, an encyclopedia for actors. Indeed. Yes, definitely grab your copy if you don't already have it. And if you have an earlier edition, oh my gosh, please do invest in the 4th edition because it's got all sorts of updated information if you are working off an older edition. My goodness, we've done 5 days of free training as a part of SMF May. We are celebrating 20 years of my doing this advice for actors thing. It started out as an actor survival job. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, it's Melissa on Facebook eating froyo and Melissa on YouTube sending me some hearts. Aloha from Daniel. So good to see you, beautiful people. Hi, Israel. So happy you could join in. We're having a blast. Awesome. Celebrating 20 years of this advice thing for actors by doing 20 free training live streams throughout the month of May. Today is day 6. We're going to jump in on your footage today, but first I want to just check in and ask, how's your homework going? Because I know I had you kill off some babies last time. Last broadcast was get out your resume and clear some clutter, reduce some of your credit clutter. Get rid of any credit that is teaching the buyers that this is what you want to do and it's not what you want to do. Like if there's any ingredient in your soup that is sending people in the wrong direction for understanding how to cast you next, getting rid of those credits. I hope it wasn't too painful. I know how it feels, but hopefully my story of death by beaver inspired you as to what it is you're teaching your buyers your specialty is. And speaking of my casting specialty, in addition to, oh my gosh, all the brilliant awesomeness that is the fun stuff that I've gotten a chance to cast or be a part of or consult on in my casting career, just yesterday, Artificial on Twitch was awarded a prestigious Peabody Award, which is, of course, from my alma mater, because I went to the journalism school at University of Georgia, and the Peabody Awards are a part of the J School at UGA. Go Dogs! And so I am super, super proud to have been a part of the casting of Artificial. I did some consulting for a couple of roles on that, and they've gone on and won a Peabody, so it's just phenomenal. Melissa is telling me it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Felt so much better after. I love hearing that. Okay, Bradley cannot add silent video to the survey. Okay, so let's do a quick troubleshoot on that because I've seen a couple people in the Facebook group mentioning that that's an issue. So this is from homework from earlier in the 20 days. I believe day 3 homework, I had you guys go through and create a silent typing vid so that you could start getting some feedback on how you present in the room. And obviously you want to do this in real life, in person if you can, but for using technology and being able to survey the entire internet. And there are people who've gone and put their surveys out on places like Reddit to get massive amounts of data. There's a specific channel in Reddit, a subreddit that is specifically for surveys and people who want to get data. And so if you can buffer yourself against any of the troll comments that might come from there, it is a way to get massive, like hundreds of pieces of data. And of course, you can come do this in the Self-Management for Actors Facebook group as well. The trick is is you upload your video to YouTube and then you create a Google survey. And in creating your Google survey through your Gmail account, this is just, you use the forms function, I believe, in Gmail. And then I see my nose is running. I don't like that one. Excuse me, people. Got a little emotional there. Not emotional, just nose running. As we were, sorry, because you go through and do this on your Google form, you then, and I don't use the Gmail that much, so forgive me if the description is a little clunky, you are then going to have a place where you can put in a link to the video. And so it's not that you're uploading your video to your form or your survey, you're including a link, you're embedding a link in the survey itself. And then that allows you to be able to get the survey respondents on that silent video. Daniel is asking at Facebook, what's the subreddit? I don't know the name of it, but if you go over to my team, we'll put a link in the Facebook comments here to the Castable Type and Brand Survey article that I wrote. There's a video training that I give like a whole lot more detail where I was much more articulate about each of the elements because I had a list, a bullet point list of all the things to say. And also I give a PDF of the 11 tips on how to make sure that you get the best castable brand survey possible. And in the comments of that blog post, a ninja has come through and shared the name of that subreddit, I believe. And if not, it has for sure been mentioned in the Facebook group. So those are a couple places where you can find that. But I'm pretty sure if you just look up like surveys and surveying people in Reddit, I'm again not quite sure exactly how that works, you should be able to land upon it. And it's a place where people are just going to take surveys and answer questions in service of people who are throwing those up there. So cool. You're welcome. Absolutely my pleasure. Good. Laura says credit clutter gone. Woo! I mean, and it does. It feels like decluttering, right? Where at first you're like, I don't know. It is scary to not have all this extra stuff around, and then you start to feel the freedom of the clarity of focus of what you're trying to get people to pay attention to on your credits. So this is a really good pairing for today's topic of footage, because oftentimes actors' demo reels, and not just actors, directors' demo reels, writers' demo reels, showrunners' demo reels, like any creative who has a demo reel, a hosting reel, they tend to pack these things with way too much information. And I really want you to think of your demo reel, your linear demo reel, if you feel that you still need one, which a lot of people do. A lot of people are going in favor of just clips and itemizing the clips and letting the buyers say, ooh, I'm looking to cast somebody who's doing something like a schmackty over-the-top sitcom. Oh, look, here's this actor who has right here a schmackty over-the-top sitcom. Let me watch that footage. That answers my question. Does this actor have the ability to do what I need them to do in this project that I'm casting right now? And there's no need to watch the full linear demo reel. But agents and managers tend to want people to still have a full linear demo reel. And so it is still the standard. So we're speaking to that in this particular training. I want you to consider that it is the trailer for the feature that is you. So just like a trailer is intended to get you to want to plunk down the money and go put your butt in the seat at the movie theater and watch the 2-hour experience, it is not meant to show you every conceivable element of what we'll experience in the 2-hour feature. Also, more often than not, there's something in that trailer that ended up on the cutting room floor from the actual movie. There's actual footage in the trailer that if you watch the movie, you go, that never happened in the movie, but there it is in the trailer. Waha. And it's because the trailer has a different purpose than the movie. So your abilities as an entertainer, your abilities as a storyteller include a lot more than what it is a trailer or a demo reel is meant to convey. All the demo reel is meant to convey is, this is a collection of how I do what I do. Here I am acting. Here I am in these scenarios with these kinds of co-stars. Like, this is the caliber of people that I work with. This is the level of budget you should get accustomed to seeing me play in. Okay, this is the work that you should expect to see in the room, and it should whet my appetite as a buyer watching that trailer, watching that demo reel. It should get me interested enough in bringing you into the room to see if you're the right fit for this project that I'm casting right now. So the reason that agents and managers will more likely want a full linear demo reel is because they want to know all the different ways they can get you out. They want to know all the different ways they can cast you. Buyers on the casting side of things really just want the answer to one question, and that is, do you solve the problem I have right now? And the problem I have right now is this list of roles. And one of these roles could match up with you, and I need to see footage that tells me more likely than not, yes, this is a match. You are going to solve this problem for me. And then that is going to allow me to make that, hopefully, casting decision from a lower risk position. So really consider the footage that you put out into the world as something that's meant to lower the risk or the perceived risk on the part of the buyer as to whether or not you can do the job that we're about to ask you to do. So this is where I'll ask you to do some of what we did with the resume. And for those of you who didn't watch day 5, please go back to the playlist. Hang on, let me put it up on the screen. Right here, if you go to BonnieGillespie.com/20, this is the link in my bio, Instagram. If you go to BonnieGillespie.com/20, this guy right here, you will find a link to the entire schedule for SMF May. So you'll know all the rest of the days that we're going live. And by the way, starting today, I'm live every single day for like 6 days. So get ready. You're going to get a lot of this chick up on this screen doing this because we got a lot of training that we're doing back to back to back to back over the next few days. Woo! And then I'll take a break like midweek next week. But just a little break because then I'm back at it. Because it's 20 days in the month of May. That's a lot. That's more days on than off. Duh. Okay, so I want you to go watch the resume training that was yesterday. Yesterday in the world of broadcast. It was the last broadcast, so 2 days ago. I want you to take a look at that and really start thinking about how this is a marketing tool. The resume is a marketing tool. The demo reel is a marketing tool. And if you will interview your bookings with an eye toward what are you teaching the buyers about where I'm headed, always with that true north in mind. And if you're like true north, go back to day 1. Watch that one, day 1. True north. This path here includes breadcrumbs that you are dropping down for the buyer to follow. You want the buyers to follow you to your true north. In fact, you want them to follow and lead. And so you have to drop the breadcrumbs down the path for then the buyers to give you the jobs that help move you farther up that path. And it's an incremental little dance that we're doing together. So your involvement in that means your demo reel has to be seen through the lens of, are you showing, like go through each credit, are you showing the buyer that I am ready for that next project at that next budget level, that I am ready for that next project at that next tier. And I believe tomorrow we're going to be talking about tiers specifically. I'm going to get into some more data stuff. So the geeky things that I love to geek out about, we'll be diving in on tomorrow and talking specifically about the tiers and how there are different pieces of advice that are different fits at different tiers and in different markets. So we'll be covering all of that tomorrow. But in general, if you are at a co-star tier and you're hoping to show the buyers I'm ready for a guest star, you need something on your demo reel that says guest star ready. And if you're ready to break out of the indies and show the buyers you're ready to do studio level or network level projects, you need something on your demo reel that says higher budget ready, studio ready, network ready. And if you're like, how do I get that? Incrementally. So first, let's use, to go back to journalism school, again, go dogs. To go back to journalism school, we're going to use something that is a tried and true technique for writing anything in journalism, and it is called the inverted pyramid. If this is new to you, I would encourage you to Google Bonnie Gillespie inverted pyramid. You will land on a few articles that I've written, but one in particular, which my team will put in the link here at the Facebook version of the comments if you're watching live with us now, or in replay at Facebook, the comments will remain there. I want you to go take a look at the inverted pyramid concept. This is also in the book. So if you're like, this sounds familiar and you have this book, I believe you can actually look in the index because of course it's an academic book. So of course I have an index. Inverted pyramid, page 124, and then again, page 140 and 141. Bam. Who's got you covered? Right there. Take a look at the inverted pyramid and consider that we lead off with what is badassiest, and I use that non-word intentionally. Badassiest is the criteria, and that's because there is no hard and fast rule of every time it's a network project, it's a bigger deal than an indie that did incredibly well at Sundance. Or this one starred someone who went on to become incredibly famous, or is directed by somebody whose work became so incredibly well known. Like there are so many variables to what makes something badassy. So what we do is we take a look at what is badassiest in your situation. And so if you take a look at your footage, and let's say you've got a half dozen clips, you've got 6 things to choose from. I want you to rank them. Inverted pyramid style, which means badassiest right up top. In journalism, we lead with the most important information. You've heard the phrase, don't bury the lead. This is what that comes from, is that we don't want the top information to be, we're introducing a story, we've got this neat thing that we're going to talk to you about, let's warm you up, which is a more composition way of writing, and it's the way most people are taught to write, but it's not the way journalists are taught to write. Journalists are taught to write with bam, headline, and then taper off to the less important stuff. Or in the case of the demo reel, we're going to taper off in this ranking that we're doing. And that's an important distinction right there. In this ranking that we're doing, we are going to taper off to the least badassy of all the things. So you've got most badass up here, least badass down there. So we go most badass to least badass in this ranking. So if we've got that half dozen pieces of footage, we're going to say that one where you had one line in a studio feature film. That's pretty badass because even though it's only one line, it's a studio feature film, which means major distribution, massive budget, a lot of people saw it. And even though you only had one line and maybe that's not where you want to go next, it does prove that you are low risk on a studio project. So that's pretty badass. Let's say you also have an indie film that went on the festival circuit. It didn't go to Sundance or Tribeca or one of the bigs. And if you're like, what are the bigs? Please go over to my blog, go to bonniegillespie.com and put in film festivals in the search bar there. And you'll see where I've written about which ones are the bigs, which festivals are considered highest cred. And that also adjusts a little depending on your genre and what you're into. But in general, the big 6 are the big 6 are the big 6. If you had a film that did do well on the festival circuit, but maybe didn't go to one of the bigs, and you had a decent sized role, that's pretty badass. And so you might go, ooh, does that go ahead of the studio feature film in which I had one line? Depends. What is your goal? Is your next tier goal to get larger roles or to do more studio stuff? And so you may have different versions of your reel. You may have different versions of your resume. This is the part that's always baffling to me. Actors are really good about feeling like they need a whole bunch of different headshots. Like I got 10 different, first of all, please no on 10 different headshots. Like 2, 3 headshots, fine. I love that actors have no problem grasping, I need potentially different headshots for different purposes. I need the one that is my gritty indie look, and I need the one that's my more polished studio sitcom commercial look. Okay, great. But you never consider I should have different versions of my footage. I should have different cuts of the exact same material to emphasize different things. or different versions of my resume, depending on to whom I'm marketing. This is all part of the deal. I've even worked with creatives who have had entirely different websites, and they send people to the website that does the purpose of the kind of marketing that they're hoping to do. And I'm not saying that we have to get to that, and we're going to go into websites more in depth next week. But for now, just keep in mind that it doesn't have to be a one size fits all demo reel. What you can create is the demo reel that is intended to teach people my next job is a guest star on a network project. And then everything gets edited with that being the message. You can also have a demo reel that is edited specifically to show I am meant to do more low budget indies that kill it on the festival circuit. And you edit to that reality. That doesn't mean you don't include the studio one-liner on the one that's edited for indie. What it means is maybe you front load it with the stuff that is more informative about that trajectory. And then as an afterthought, there's this, oh, by the way, here's this clip of me in the latest Avengers movie doing this one-liner. And then people are like, oh my God, you've also been in a movie that made $1 bajillion. So I want you to really start shifting how you see your footage. And probably the most important tip I can give in the paradigm shift that I'm asking you to have is please, please, please do not get married to the way that you try and make the footage stay true to the story. And I'm going to say that again because it's really important. Do not get married to the idea that you have to let the footage stay true to the story. Okay? There is a purpose for the filmmaker to have the story play out a certain way. That's a completely different purpose than your purpose for using the exact same footage on your demo reel. Their footage is meant to tell the story of the story. Your footage is meant to tell the story of you and how you are next going to be cast. And more importantly, where we are on this road to your true north. So if you can start ranking your footage, and this doesn't mean this is the order you'll present it on your linear demo reel, it just means this is how you can keep up with what's the most badass clip I have. And hopefully everybody's already thinking of, oh yeah, I know, I totally know what the most badass clip I have is. And then taper down to what is least badass, right? Then it makes it super easy to know what you can kill off. The clearing the clutter becomes so easy because you know you can cut it right here. So again, to the inverted pyramid and the journalist way of writing is if newspaper days, magazine days, if we run out of space and we have to cut this article before it's actually done, we haven't missed the most important part of the story because we always can just cut from the bottom because we write inverted pyramid style. And the way I learned this the hard way was, oh my God, I wrote this amazing article back when I was in college for the Red and Black, which is the unofficial newspaper of the University of Georgia. And so it's not run by the university, but it's anyway, Red and Black. Wrote this awesome, large featured article that I wrote on some comic book artists in town, local artists, and I had featured 2 different ones, and I did the whole story of the one guy, and then I started the second story of the second guy that I was covering, and then they cut for space, and so it looked like a story about the one guy and then 2 paragraphs about the other guy. And I was like, oh my God, I totally didn't write inverted pyramid style because I thought it being a feature article that I had a whole lot more room to play with and to be a little more literary or comp and ret style composition rather than actual journalist style. So lesson hard learned. You can do this with your material. Like you can do this with your credits on your resume. You can do this with your footage. Rank it. And if you're like, oh my God, none of my stuff ranks high on the badassiest scale, good news. Now you know what footage you need to go get next. And you can make it a goal that you will have the footage that tops something on your list by what? Right now, as I'm doing this broadcast, it's May 10th, 2019. Okay, fabulous. Let's project forward to some time in the future. I don't know. My birthday, July 11th. I'll give you 2 solid months, right? Could you get footage or create footage for yourself that enters higher on the badass scale into your inverted pyramid of footage within the next 2 months? And if you're like, well, I got this, and okay, that's fine. Whatever excuses you got, that's fine. But okay, how about till the end of the year? Can you do it in 7 months? And you're like, oh my God, Bonnie, of course. Yeah, 6.5, 7 months. Yeah, absolutely. I can make that happen. Great. Good. Commit to that. And if you're like, I don't want to produce my own content, that's okay. I'm not saying you have to, although, of course, that's the way to make sure that you get the quality of footage showcasing you doing exactly what your life's work is about, is to create it yourself, of course. If you're like, nope, that's not the way I'm going to do it, cool. You can still get incredibly strategic about projects that you say yes to or what you submit on between now and the end of the year. If your primary goal is, I need better footage, I need to lower the risk involved in casting me in this kind of way. I need more comedy. I need something that shows me edgier than I've ever been. Great. Then your job is to find something you can say yes to as an actor that guarantees you will have footage, and that it's footage of a level that you're going to be proud of and excited to roll out and include on your demo reel, that enters in that inverted pyramid list of what is badassiest higher than what is currently at the bottom of your options. What questions might y'all have for me as we wrap up Footage Day here in SMF May? Scott is saying, if I look very different presently, this is a comment from YouTube, y'all. If I look very different presently, lost weight, shaved head, to my most badass clip, would I start with that one, or does it matter? Or is it best to start with the most badass that's the current look? Because we're not going to be looking at your footage usually, Scott, until after we've determined that you're the right fit for the role on type, which means we looked at your headshot, right? It's not like I've never seen you, I have no idea who I'm about to look at, and I press play on a demo reel, right? I'm not going to hit play on the footage until I have already decided you meet the criteria as the type. So I've already seen your headshot. So assuming I've already seen your headshot and I know that you're the right type, it's not going to be terribly jarring for me to see that first clip be different. The problem is, what that plants for me is that you haven't recently done anything that's that badass that it matches your current look. And if we're talking a significant amount of weight, if the look is incredibly different, like it would have taken time to change that look, not just shave the head, but actually there's been some time that has passed, that sends us down a path that might not be so beneficial for you. So it may be best to do a short badass clip from the current you that then goes into a meatier one from farther back in your history, so that we're able to see, oh wow, this work is solid and he's consistent, without having that first thought be, oh, he hasn't worked in a while. Because you have to be careful what you're confirming or helping us suspect with what you communicate in your footage. And that's why I think the footage needs to be updated regularly. When people are like using the same clips forever, I'm like, careful. Even if that's an amazing scene from, I don't know, Titanic, you're just reminding me it's been 30 years since you did, a big studio feature film. And I don't know how helpful that is at some point. Okay. Bradley says, wow, thanks. I need better footage. The lighting in my clip is terrible. Yeah, lighting can be forgiven more than sound. The human brain is wired to be less tolerant of poor sound than we are of poor lighting. So if the sound is a problem, fix that. Like that is a major must fix, because the human brain can't tolerate poor sound. But if for the way most people are wired, obviously there are exceptions. Poor lighting, we can be a little more forgiving, but definitely if you're right now having a moment of shit, I got some upgrades to do. Good news. Start right now. You now have data coming in about your most castable type and brand. We did the vision work on day 1 of SMFMA to get clear on the stories you were born to tell and what your true north is made of. The path between where you currently sit and where you're headed should look pretty clear, or at least the number of routes you could take is now minimized because all of these directions have been cut off because they don't lead to where you want to go. And now that we're starting to clear the clutter of the resume and we're starting to get really intentional with what we include on the demo reel, hopefully it's all coming together that we are overall building a story for the buyer. We are dropping breadcrumbs down the path that we want the buyer to travel with us so that they can become co-conspirators in helping us get to each new step along the way, each new tier, and we'll go more into that tomorrow. Along this path to your true north. Cool? Great. My pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure, y'all. Thank you so much. That was 30 minutes. And I promised I'm keeping them to 30, especially because I'm going live every damn day for the next few. So make sure that you're tuning in with us here. Wherever it is that you're watching, this is where we will be back again. But comments remain open at the Facebook version of the broadcast. So please head over to my Facebook page if you would like to continue this dialogue. I always sweep back through the comments and make sure that I can answer anything that came up that I missed during the live broadcast or that gets posted after the video. This free training series is all in service of our 100-day live round for getting gear for the next tier, which I hope when you go to bonniegillespie.com/20 that you are entering the scholarship contest so that you can continue on this journey with us for another 100 days with live interaction with the Q&A coaching phone calls throughout the summer. And if you're like, I don't want to wait, I want to start that immediately, you can start today and still do the live round. So just head over to Getting Gear for the next tier. My team will put a link here over in Facebook to get you there, but you can also get information at bonniegillespie.com/20 or the link in bio over here at Instagram. I'm super excited for all this time that we're sharing this month and beyond as we head into SMFA Summer School. Thank you guys so much for sharing this time with me. Have a great weekend. If I'm not going to see you throughout the weekend, but hopefully I'll meet you right back here tomorrow. So till next time, stay ninja, y'all. Mwah! Bye! Woohoo! Thank you guys for joining me.